Hey there, it is Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
It is always a joy to talk to Dr. Michael Youssef. He is the lead pastor of Church of the Apostles, of course, and the host of Leading the Way. Doc, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's so good to be back with you guys. You're such an uplifting pair of brothers in Christ.
We appreciate that. And before we got started, Dr. Youssef was commenting on Rick's beard there, and some great comments. And I think he's almost looking like Santa Claus. If he got it a little whiter, he might be able to pass for him. What do you think,
Pass
Dr.
for
Youssef?
that. Yeah, but it's still got dark hair though.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I picked up a few COVID pounds, so I may be passing as Santa Claus here real soon.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Hey, Doc, we love talking to you, and of course, Church of the Apostles, and also Leading the Way, legendary. Let's talk a little bit about your personal Christmas, and then we'll get into the stuff that goes on at Apostles. You and Elizabeth, you have traditions you carry out every Christmas. What is it this year?
Well, I am normally exhausted from the night before, but because of our children have this system by which if Thanksgiving with us, Christmas with the in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have some of them this year, but it's always fun to just watch those kids. First of all, I don't allow any opening of gifts. I did this with my kids. I do it with my grandkids before having a time of prayer and giving thanks to God for sending his son. And then they can have their gifts. So, yeah, normally I kind of really, after preaching twice in the evening, 3 and 5, we have services. Last year, because of COVID and the separation, we had to have 3 services on Christmas Eve. And at 73, just kind of whipping it twice in a period of 4 hours. So by the time I go home, I'm ready to rest.
Yeah, I'll bet. But just looking at the Apostles' website and seeing the video that you have there of I guess, a past Christmas, a Christmas Eve service with the candlelights, it's so beautiful just to see all that and just to feel the peace and the warmth there. That is so awesome.
It's really a very special time and a very special service. And of course, Mac Powell kind of adds to the celebration of his. In fact, he wrote a new Christmas song this year that he's going to introduce it on Christmas Eve. So
Wow.
I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, let's talk about all the events going on. As you just mentioned, you have Christmas Eve services, but what else is going on at Church of the Apostles for Advent?
Well, we have encouraged people to get the Preparing for the King booklet so they can, as a family, spend time preparing for the coming of the Lord Jesus. And in Advent, historically, particularly when the Reformation came and they took some of the lectionary from the Catholic calendar, and they really kind of edited it a little bit and made Advent to be a season in which we remember not just the coming of Jesus, first coming of Jesus, but the second coming.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, in many traditional churches, you have the Bible readings and the lectionaries all about the return of Christ. So I prepared that booklet for Leading the Way, viewers and listeners, as well as the members of the church, to take time to focus and to prepare our hearts for the coming of the King, particularly the second coming of the King, because we said, well, we rejoice in his first coming because that's the only way we would have had hope for the second coming.
Yeah.
But they both really are very key and very important.
Now, is this something that you can do together as a family? Is it something meant to do just by yourself, or what?
You can do that. I mean, it's a booklet, and I think parents can sit with their children and read through it, prepare them, 4 weeks of Advent. Or a person, if they're single or live alone, they can do that by themselves. So either way, it's a tool, and like all tools, it's not perfect, but it sort of helps along the way.
But a great way to focus our minds on what we're actually celebrating at Christmas time rather than the hustle and bustle that we get lost in every year. Right?
Exactly. And yeah, unfortunately, that's just has become worse and worse. My wife and I, we were in London in October because we had some meetings there, lots of preparation for a big celebration in England next year. It's the 20th anniversary of leading the way in the UK.
Wow.
Wow.
And we're having celebrations at Windsor Castle and big rally right across from Parliament House
Wow.
and Edinburgh and Belfast. And so we were there to help our team there in the preparation. That was October before Halloween, and
Right.
all the decorations were going up in England.
Wow.
And so I know it's a commercial side of it, and they're trying to make a living, but and I'm not against any of this. I just wanted people to never forget what it's all about.
Yeah.
We're talking with Dr. Michael Youssef, one of our favorite guests, lead pastor at Church of the Apostles, of course, and the host of Leading the Way. He was talking about the devotional. It's called, the Advent Devotional is called Preparing for the King. And you can get that if you want at ltw.org, or I'm sure it's there at Church of the Apostles. You can pick up a copy or two. What great Christmas gifts they would be. And here we are, Christmas 2021. I think, Doc, folks are really pumped about getting together this year. They seem to really want to get together and just worship together. What do you expect for the rest of the month?
Well, I am seeing this actually worldwide. I mean, we stay very close touch with Australia because my wife is from Australia. So we keep up, and we have our second largest ministry support base and television and radio outside of the United States is in Australia. And then, of course, England, as I already mentioned. So we are in touch with both those countries. And the amazing part is people say, we've had enough. We've had enough shut down. We did not have anywhere near like they had. I mean, they nearly had a year.
Right.
And I just said, no matter what happens, we're not going back. In fact, they had 1 million people marching in the streets of Melbourne just last week.
Wow.
And 350,000 in Sydney and Adelaide and so forth. So people are really tired of that. And they're saying, look, we just got to have to learn to live with it. And I in the United States, of course, we did not have that shut down at length of time that they have. In fact, our church only closed for a few weeks, and we opened up in May of 2020. And I said, we're going to be streaming live, but if you want to come. And a lot of people showed up and have been ever since. Yeah.
Well, we certainly appreciate everything that Leading the Way does, not only here in America, but as you mentioned, worldwide. Something I want to mention is right now, I guess, because it's Christmas season, you have a triple matching gift challenge. Somebody who's going to match dollar for dollar, triple what is given.
Right. Actually, to be truthful, there a small group of people, 3 or 4, got together and they said, well, let's do this in order to help not only end this calendar year strong, but also be ready for next year. And we are expanding in ways. If you remember, I shared with you last time, but I don't expect you to remember that we had, back on my 70th birthday, 3 years ago, we had the 2025 vision, 7 years, 7 initiatives. And we launched 6 of those already, and we are more than halfway, even though we haven't reached the halfway mark in terms of the vision timing. But the last one, and it was basically that I would go out on the road and hold evangelistic crusades on the road worldwide. And my prayer was, the reason we delayed that 7th one, I said, Lord, I'm not going to do this unless you send me somebody who has wealth of experience how to do that. That's a massive work, as you know, and mammoth. Several years ago, my friend Henry Holly, who was Billy Graham's crusade director, introduced me to a man by the name of Chad Hammond. Chad has, for 20 years, held all the rallies, organized them all for Franklin in Japan and Vietnam and Korea and elsewhere around Singapore. And he had been living overseas and coming home. So when he showed up, I said, okay, this is the right time. So he joined our team, and he's bringing a whole team with him to do the training and the preparation. And because those things anybody doesn't or has not been involved, they don't understand the intensity and intensive amount of work and man hours that it takes to hold one of those evangelistic. But we also don't want to do it just an event. If we go to a city like Belfast or as we'll do in Sydney, we don't want to just go and have an event and then leave.
Right.
We are preparing this to be an evangelistic ongoing. So the training for the follow-up and for before and after is a huge work. But Chad Hammond joined our team last month, and we're so grateful to the Lord for him. And we can't wait for him to start launching several next week, 2022. That's just the big thing for me personally, because it's going to be I'm going to be on the road. And we will have some in the United States as well.
That is so awesome. Dr. Michael Youssef, always a great time with him, lead pastor at Church Apostles and also the host of Leading the Way. Check out the services there at Churches of the Apostles, and always check out his program on Faith Talk Atlanta, and ltw.org is a great place to land. Dr. Youssef, you're always so generous with your time, and we just love you to pieces. You're looking great. You don't look 73.
No, not at all.
Well,
you actually look better than I do, but it's all good. Blessings.
No.
Blessings.
No, I say there's got to be law against 73-year-old who having so much fun like this.
Dr. Michael Youssef, check out the program and our prayers for 2022, as looks like he's going to be on the road doing evangelistic stuff. It is going to be huge. Thank you, Doc. We appreciate you. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.